Welcome everyone to episode 149 of 1 Hour 1 Decision, 1H1D. I am Chris.
And I am Tom.
And we take 60 minutes and play a random game on Xbox Game Pass and decide, well, Tom, is Shredders worth our time?
Well, the Shredder is always worth my time.
Fair.
I don't know about having more than one. I guess we'll find out.
We will. We will. Shredders is this episode's topic / game. And this game was developed by FoamPunch. And
is it
came out.
Punching with foam or punching foam?
I don't know. Maybe the developers can come on the show and answer that to us.
And let us know.
Let us know. But this game did come out in March of 2022. This was a day one Game Pass release with everything else like Steam, Steam and whatever else other platforms it was on. But yeah, day one release. That's kind of cool. And I played this on the PC per usual, and it was 16.68 gigabytes on the PC. Tom, what about you?
Interesting. Optimized for the Xbox. On the Series S, only 10.2 gigabytes.
Wow, impressive. Well done. They punched the space out of this one for the Xbox. So well done for them on that.
Squeezed all the foam.
Oh yeah. Ooh, like one of those squishy balls or something. Anyway, phrasing. What is that game loop? No, sorry. What kind of game is it first?
I was like, you're skipping a step, my friend.
Squishy balls got me really all flustered here, but sorry.
You're never going to believe it, Chris. I put snowboarding.
What?
Crazy.
Yeah.
But I also put more generally our sports arcade sports.
Okay. All right. I put third-person snowboarding game.
Imagine playing a first-person snowboarding game.
That would be intense. I'm sure there probably is their first-person. Maybe one in VR. You got an Oculus. You might want to check that out.
That's a good point. That's where it should live for sure.
Yeah. And what is that game loop?
Okay, I have complete objectives while shredding down the mountain to unlock your next story mission.
Yes. I think our minds were in sync here. I put complete objectives and sub-objectives before the end of the run.
Yes.
So there are other things that we'll talk about, though. There are other play modes in this game as well, but we only had the hour to play it, and that's the hour. That's what I put my time in, and what it seems like you did as well. So
ditto.
Now, in that hour, let's talk about what we liked about it.
I noticed that both of our first point is the same thing. And that's because right away you're dropped into the game. There's no lengthy preamble, not some crazy long cutscene. You're just playing the game.
Yeah, very true. You are. Yep. It's just, hey, we're gonna start you with snowboarding, and it gets right into the tutorial. And it's I think you talked about this too. It's a pretty decent tutorial, I'd say. You learn things as you progress throughout the game, and it's. I was surprised how decent this game looks for what it was, because it seems like an indie developer of some sort, and I thought that did a good job. I mean, okay, everything's covered in white. So
yes,
but for what it was, that I thought that the game had a good sense of speed. They used a lot, like a good use of audio as well. I thought the music was good. It got me going, got me very chilled. I kind of even want to look up that soundtrack, because I was like, yeah, this is kind of like something that I could go to work and have on my headphones kind of thing. So
yeah, it wouldn't be that distracting.
Right.
So, like you said, good background audio.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I also have the teaches you to play as you're playing, which I think is important. I thought it felt pretty good to get a hang of the controls. So I put that the tricks can be tricky to land, but the game walks you through it. It's not tough on you, at least not initially.
Right.
And it lets you redo it and kind of figure it out as you go, and it'll show you this is what you press, and then you press this, and then you do it, kind of thing.
Yeah. And because of that, I think during your particular runs, I also appreciated the fact that, it is pretty instantaneous in terms of, if you fail, like, you screw up, you're like, okay, let me reset it. They had like certain things, like they borrowed stuff from, I feel like, Forza, where you can kind of roll back, you can rewind a little bit, or you could reset the entire thing, which I thought was kind of a cool feature to have. So cool.
Yeah, I have I liked that there are, kind of lots of objectives, as we kind of mentioned.
Yeah.
There is like the primary objective
Yeah.
that is easy to complete, and that's what's going to get you moving to the next mission,
Right.
But at the same time, it's got a lot of these bonus or sub objectives, that make the game replayable. So
Mhm.
it's a game where it's easy to progress, but it's going to be hard to master.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you want to complete everything and get all your check boxes in, you're going to have to put time into really getting fluid with the game.
Definitely. And speaking of fluid, I think the controls overall, once you get the hang of them, are pretty fun. This gave me vibes of old school EA when they were going crazy with the dual stick games, when they were doing the fight nights. Skate obviously is one that really got me, like, reminded me, like, this game reminded me of, like, because of how you do most of your tricks by, you've got the 2 analog sticks and then basically the bumper and triggers. Like, that's essentially all you do with this game. So, and it was cool. I'm kind of glad that they did that. I don't know how you feel about it, but I thought that was kind of cool.
Spoiler, it's not listed here in this section.
Like, I mean, I can understand your disdain for it, because yes, it is kind of also in my dislikes as well. But it is satisfying when you land a trick.
Yes, absolutely. Getting the hang of something,
Yeah.
or like failing 3 times and then on the 4th time getting it feels really good.
Yeah.
So,
I know there was one trick, the method that I was trying for a very long time. I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then like my last kind of try, I was like, oh, I got it now. And it was cool. It was like and then I was able to pull it off with no problem after that. But let's talk about that story, because this game has a story mission.
It does. I thought the plot is pretty funny, amusing. It's dumb, but in a good way.
Right.
To me, it's an arcade sports title.
Yeah.
So I don't think it needs to have a serious story. I think that if it had a serious story, you'd be rolling your eyes at the game the whole time.
Yes.
So I appreciate that it doesn't take itself seriously.
Right.
That the plot is ridiculous. It's about YouTube streamers.
Right.
And, trying to get more views and stuff like that. And how a person from one of the, snowboarding companies, the equipment companies, tries to like get these guys to do silly things, for
exploit them, like real life. Yeah.
Yes, very much.
I mean, it is very on brand, on topic, in terms of the stuff that's happening right now, where people are trying to gain notoriety on the internet with like viral videos and stuff like that. And I'm sure you've seen a couple hundred fail videos and stuff like that. I know I failed many times in my playthrough of this game. So I'm sure that those have been, great to really see. Although I'm sure it would have been very painful if I did that in real life. And I'm glad I did this on a computer, not in real life. So, but I agree. Like the story was just really, really ham-fisted, but like you got it. It's they're just trying to have fun. It's just like, just go with it. It's not that big of a deal.
It's goofy, and I don't mean by switching which foot you put forward.
Right. What else here? I mean, like I said, the soundtrack was great. I thought there was definitely some tunes I was like, oh, I want to go back to that. And I was upset, like when I would reset and like every once in a while that the audio would change. I'm like, oh no, go back to, like, I wish there was a way for me to switch tracks. That would have been cool. But it is what it is. And any other good stuff you want to talk about here?
I am ready to move on.
Okay, let's talk about those dislikes, Tom.
Okay, so I hinted at it before.
Yeah.
But to me, the controls just don't feel intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they're using that skate style.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just don't like it. It's weird. My brain doesn't want to use those buttons or doesn't want to,
Right.
I want to press face buttons to do things, and you don't.
Yeah.
So I just end up not pulling off things.
Like
And
I
it's a little
thought
frustrating.
the way that they used the bumpers made sense, because it was like you use your left hand or use your right hand. But then when you're dealing with spinning versus flipping, and then like getting the timing for the right trigger, because the right trigger controls you getting ready to jump, right?
Yes.
And you have to, and like getting that timing down while you release it and do either the left or right stick movement. Definitely there was some frustration early on for me. And I got to a point in the story where there's this guy that you have to basically copy his moves.
Yes.
And that was, that was a little frustrating, because like I was like, how do I do this move again? Although they do kind of tell you, they show you like the button movements or mappings for that particular move, but when your brain doesn't want to do what it sees, it gets frustrating. So that was that. I do want to point out, there outside of the snowboards, there are snowmobiles.
Yeah.
That you can call. And I thought the controls for those were really frustrating.
Because you have to press a button to hold on.
You have to press a button to hold on. You have to press both bumper buttons to hold on, and then you have to hold the left stick up to accelerate. Like leave it if you don't like let go, if you don't keep it up, the snowmobile just slows down. So it's like, why couldn't I use the right trigger to just accelerate? In that particular mode. I don't know. So, but it was cool to use it though. It was like it changed things up a little bit here and there. And while the story was goofy and stuff like that, sometimes the voice acting was kind of goofy. Like bad. Like some of the voice actors just not great. Like they just phoned it in. And then I had an issue. I don't know if you got to the fireworks mission, but
I don't recall. Are they actually launching fireworks? Because if they are, then no.
No. What ends up happening is you to get notoriety, you steal this particular fireworks event. Like there's an event that's supposed to happen. Like a really famous snowboarder is supposed to like jump off this big jump, and fireworks and glitter and all this stuff is supposed to happen. And you just kind of steal the spotlight. After that happens, though, it's funny because I think they left, like they didn't clean up the audio, because you hear the audio prompt for them to start their recording, like the little beep, and then but then on top of that, the audio is out of sync with the actual what the characters, the models, are doing in the game. So I was like, that's kind of weird. And I was just curious if you actually got to that point, but it seems like you might not. You would have noticed for sure.
No, but I'll tell you what I did notice. All of the characters are faceless. Yeah. Everybody's in a buff.
Yes.
And after I wrote that, I wrote, this is either lazy or brilliant.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't have to animate any faces.
Yeah. But they do, like their mouths do move. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
like,
there's like a head movement.
Yeah.
And there's body language and stuff.
But yeah. And they also poke fun at that too.
Yes, they
because
do.
Like the developers don't have enough money to animate us. So it's like, whatever. I was like, okay. I mean, I'm cool with it. That makes sense.
Yeah, it is goofy and self-aware.
Yeah.
On the plot, I think it's weird that a bossy stranger shows up and your character and your buddy just follow along immediately.
Right.
I get why they did it, because, you need to do the levels. But...
Exactly. And like she showed no identification. She's like, I work for this company. You need to do these things for me. I was like, okay. It's like, all right. You didn't ask for it. Okay. Well, let that be a lesson to anyone that is trying to get sponsorships. Don't follow and listen to anyone unless you get some sort of an identification, please. So, yeah.
I'm curious, since I did not get to that fireworks thing, I did have some problems with the ragdoll physics.
Okay.
Like clipping, I got stuck in the geometry of the levels and things like that. And I had troubles like getting back up. Like if I fell down there, like it says get up, but it doesn't really tell you what button to press to get up.
Oh, mine, like, I think if you wait long enough, it'll show up, which I guess could be a
Oh,
gripe
maybe.
too. They're like, yeah, the right trigger will allow you to get back up.
Okay.
And then I think it was B to reset the whole thing, like the whole
Okay.
run. And then X, I believe, allows you to do the rewind. So like to kind of just jump back in time a little bit. So yeah, there was that. But I agree, like they don't really, if you don't wait long enough, it doesn't really show you those controls. So that is kind of frustrating too.
Because I was getting a prompt saying like get up, but it wasn't telling me what button to press.
That's so weird.
It seems like it should go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Where get up and press this button to get
right.
up, you know?
I'm surprised though. I didn't have any clipping issues or any of that. So that's
lucky
interesting.
you, because I got stuck a couple of times.
Okay. Good to know. I did think though, in between the stories, like when you start a new mission, you have to go into a hub world to then get to the mission. Why didn't they just start you in the mission?
Yeah, I noticed that the story kept kicking me back out to the main menu screen.
That too.
And then I have to like jump back in. And I'm just like, this is a weird.
Yeah.
Why am I not just, like you said, why am I not just moving on to the next story?
Yeah.
What?
It was like, I don't like, because there is a loading screen in between between you in the hub world and then starting the mission. There's a loading screen. So it's like, why, if you're going to take me back to the start, like to that main menu, just put me right into the mission.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That made no sense to me. Like if it was more like to your point, like you didn't have you didn't go back to the main menu, you went back into the hub world and then you had to travel to your destination. Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But this was very disjointed in that way. But apparently there is a free roam mode. So maybe I don't know. Maybe they kind of hacked this in, like, oh, we got to get this in before we publish it. So whatever. I don't know. Whatever the case may be. It was weird. And yeah. Any other dislikes here, Tom?
I do feel, and I kind of mentioned it as a like, but I think it's worth mentioning again here kind of as a dislike.
Yeah.
Which is that you can really complete most of these missions by just speeding down the mountain. Like it is very easy to complete most of them.
Sure.
Where it's a race, or it's just, you know, something to that effect, where it's just like, you just have to do very minimal stuff,
right,
to advance the story. And again, you can go back and replay it and get all the stars and do all the whole thing.
Yeah,
but press A to win seems like a pretty lame. You know?
This is true. I think if we really think about it, the story mode is really more like a big tutorial.
Yeah,
because like it's really teaching you how to play. Because there is a multiplayer mode in this game. So there is that whole thing of maybe get good so you can go on multiplayer and score the big points or something. I don't know. I don't know what the multiplayer is like, because I didn't play it. Seems like you didn't play it. So yeah, what a shame.
I did not.
It's okay. It's fine. We only got an hour anyway, Tom. All right. Are we on to our other thoughts here?
I am ready to progress.
Okay. This game in big letters, in capital letters, does say in the description of the game, it is controller only. You cannot play this on mouse and keyboard. I don't know what psycho would, but you cannot. I'm sorry, mouse and keyboard fans. You need a controller to play this game.
I wonder why they decided that.
I guess they just wanted to keep it simple. They didn't want to worry about other mappings and remappings and all that junk. Maybe, small team. Who knows? This game does have Xbox Cloud saves and xCloud playable. It's compatible for that stuff, so you can jump in on your mobile device. Get out. How Long to Beat says this game takes about 3 hours.
Whoa!
To complete. 3 hours just to complete. My assumption is just that's story mode, which I'm hoping it is. If it was any longer than that, I would be like, oh, this is.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, 14 hours to complete everything. That's what they're saying. Like, to get the bonus objectives and stuff like that. So
sure.
And like I mentioned, this game does have multiplayer. Quite a lot of, I think it's like 2 to 14 people can be on the same mountain. 2 to 16. 2 to 16. That's pretty impressive. Kind of cool. What do you got here, Tom?
I did mention the multiplayer in my other thoughts because, again, we didn't play it. It is interesting in that I did a little bit of looking at the multiplayer, and it like if you see other players or other characters on your map, those are other players.
Oh.
So like if you're in the hub world, and there were some instances where I was in the hub world and I saw, other snowboarders, and I just kind of naturally assumed that those were NPCs.
Yeah.
They weren't. They were actual other players.
Oh, wow.
I just didn't know that at the time. It just kind of automatically, I guess, in that hub world pairs you up with people. Interesting to also note, I thought this was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The first ever virtual snowboarding contest was held in this video game.
Oh.
And it was called the Shredders 540 Invitational.
Okay.
So they held a quote unquote real snowboarding event in the virtual space. And you can watch that on YouTube if you're interested.
Oh, wow.
It has been archived. I also put down here that FoamPunch, the developer, is actually a collaboration between two other studios. Ooh. So they did not exist before this. The companies being iLlusions, which is a Belgium-based company, and Let It Roll, which is a Swedish developer.
Nice.
So the two companies paired up and said, we'll make this joint venture called FoamPunch, and that put out this one and only video game.
Cool. So they did like a DBZ fusion. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Oh. I don't know I still don't know where they got FoamPunch from, but
me neither. But they're both foreign, so who knows?
Sorry. Anyway. All right. Cool. So, Tom, we got to get to our final decision here. Is this a game we want to keep on our respective hard drives, or are we going to abandon it on some mountain?
So the controls got in the way of my enjoyment of this game, like in a very big way. And so while the story is amusing and it's cool that it's only going to take a couple more hours to finish it, I'm just not invested enough in the plot to keep playing. Like it's just dumb. I can get my dumb elsewhere. I don't need to keep playing this. It's because I'm not enjoying how it controls. So
okay, all right, that's fair.
How about you? Hopefully you're more favorable.
Well, like I mentioned before, this game gave me vibes of like EA of yore, where we got Skate, SSX. I think Steep was an Ubi game, but those games all had that. Like this game gave me the vibes of like, the sense of speed, the control, the analog controls, all that stuff was, and it was great. I had a great time. My hour went by very quickly, and because of that, I think I'm gonna keep this game because it was just a fun little romp down the snow-capped mountains. I don't know where we are either. It's just, I guess, some imaginary place, but it was a good time, and I think I'll keep it just to virtually go down a mountain as opposed to doing the real thing, which I will never do because I don't want to break my ankles or my face. So there you have it.
That's yes. Yeah. I don't blame you. I've been snowboarding. I find it's very difficult.
Yes.
But I'm also not a professional. So,
Yes. So those are our thoughts. Let us know what you think of this game. Follow us and say hello on Twitter at TC1H1D or shoot us an email at TC1H1D@outlook.com. Check out our next streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/1H1D. And if you're watching this on YouTube, send us a comment down below. Maybe we'll respond, But 1H1D is part of that QTB network. If you like gaming podcasts or any great gaming content, blogs, TikToks, whatever, we've got it all there. And check it out at quitthebuild.com/network. Yeah. Tom.
You nailed it. Knocked
you.
it out of the park, Chris.
Why, thank you. Thank you so much. Tom, we got to find out what we're playing next, don't we?
Yes. Before we can leave this park.
Yeah.
This snow park.
Episode 150, Tom. 150. That's our next episode. How crazy is that?
That is a big number.
It's a big number.
We've caught them all.
We've caught all the Game Pass games. So let's see what the surprise view button has in store for us next. Here we go.
What could it possibly be?
Oh, interesting. This game piqued my interest. Venba is the name of the game.
I do not know what a Venba is.
Me neither, but it is the name of the game. So we're going to find out what it is, and we'll let you know in our next episode. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into this episode, and we will catch you on the next one.
Thanks, everybody.